I'm 99.9% sure he is not going to even touch a squad. He's not ready.
Sir Jim Ratcliffe didn't really have much of an impact on the January transfer window. So at United, it was just, exit, exit, exit. We saw the various loan deals. And we also saw Sergio Reguilon leave, which I personally think, at the time I was annoyed, even though Shaw was coming back, there had been news on Malacia potentially returning maybe in January. But I was still annoyed that we got rid of him because I didn't understand. There was no positive benefit of him going. Yeah. I think even though we were paying his wages. And then 6 weeks later, Tyrell Malacia is still nowhere to be seen. And Luke Shaw's injured again for the 3 months. I think it was such a mistake to get rid of him. I
want to know how bad of a butch job that first surgery for Malacia was, because how he's been out since before pre-season. Like, it was just before pre-season.
Yeah, the last game he played was against Fulham.
It's hard, really, because can you predict that it will go that badly for Malacia? Like, I guess in January, this is just playing devil's advocate as well, because I think it would have been a good idea to either bring Fernandes back and keep him for the rest of the season, and then maybe assess his situation in the summer, or keep Reguilon. But it is kind of like Shaw was fit or just coming back to fitness. Malacia was meant to be back soon, and Dalot can play both sides. So I feel like it is quite unlucky. Like, it's just a chain of events. Wan-Bissaka, I do hate how we just know nothing about our player injuries. Malacia has been gone for almost a year, and it's like, yeah, he's injured.
I think only the other day it was said that it's a knee ligament problem.
I think it was only when people started questioning it more post-Christmas, and then they did say knee. But it's such limited information that it's hard. Like, Mason Mount's out for has been out for God knows how long, and I don't think anyone knows that injury. It's quite strange, but yeah, the left-back situation is a bit of a worry now, because can we get top four? Like, everyone wants top four, but can you get it with no fit left-back? And I like Lindelof. I think he can be good in the right situations, but he stinks at left back.
He can't play left back.
He stinks at left back, which is really worrying. Amrabat might be tried there. I mean, I feel like he played okay there in a couple of games, but then also got skin. It depends with him if he's able to actually just come into the midfield and kind of play that inverted role.
A bit like Dalot on the other side.
Which is annoying, because I think Dalot's perfect at that role. I think he's better at that role than sticking wide. So whoever we play at left back, really, unless Dalot plays there, he's probably going to be having to stick out wide and kind of keep that balance if Amrabat or Lindelof tucks inside.
Yeah, I just feel like getting rid of, considering the season that United have had so far with the 18 injuries, surely, like, they must have been so confident that Malacia was going to come back before the end of the transfer window, because we didn't even get rid of Reguilon towards the end of the window. It was like a week and a half in. We were just kind of like, oh, you know what? Yeah, you can go. He didn't seem to want to leave.
It was an early
He was
decision.
happy. Like, we'd spoken to him a couple of times on private messages, and he seemed really happy.
Yeah.
At United, he was enjoying it. There was no kind of indication that he wanted to go.
It was also, I thought and I'm not comparing quality here, but that kind of Herrera sort of player, where it does seem like he was giving
he just seemed
absolutely
happy to be there.
everything.
Yeah.
Quality-wise, there were some situations where, okay, you can tell why he's been loaned out to tens of clubs, but he had the energy levels, even when he was only coming into the team every 3 or 4 games. He did have that one spell of prolonged games, but there wasn't. I don't really see. I do kind of see your point. There's not many reasons why he should have left. I know that we got kicked out of 2 competitions, so it's maybe it might have been a thing where you think
we're only really playing once a week.
Yeah, he can maybe play more football elsewhere, but it might bite us in the backside, because
I really think it will. I'm really worried now.
I just don't know who you play that. I've seen some shouts for Willy Kambuala to play either left back or right back with Dalot. I would rather keep Dalot at right back, because one of the things I don't believe in is just because one position's poor, you mix it up too much. Obviously Dalot can play there, but I think he's playing really well on the right. So I don't see why you might affect a second position, if you get what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
you're then affecting right back as well, where Dallow's pretty comfortable there right now. Like, he's having a really good run of games in good form. So I wouldn't personally move him there, but I could see maybe Willie Cambuala playing there, or Amrabat, but I don't want to see Lindelof there, mate. That's I think that's my one.
Lindelof didn't look great. What was it, against Luton he came on?
He is recently
Was it Luton
back.
and Villa? He both came on at left back.
Yeah, I think Villa's the one where he was getting cooked.
Yeah.
Like, but that is also, he's also fresh back from injury, so it's a hard situation for him to come back into, I think. Like, you think fresh back from injury and you're playing against, was it Diaby, I think, on the left, like tricky.
Yeah.
You're a centre back and you're drifting out wide, fighting 1v1s. Like, it was hard, but I still, even if he kind of finds a little bit form, I don't think it's where he's meant to be.
The idea that United had at the time, Luke Shaw just come back from injury, fresh, and we know Luke Shaw several times has had moments where he's been injured, come back, and then got injured again. It's like a recurring, at least somewhat recurring.
That's a conversation to have as well.
You had Shaw that was like that. Malacia was not actually back yet, and then we had Alvaro Fernandez that we've loaned out.
Is that
and we only had one fit left back, and we decided to get rid of two more. In Fernandez going out on loan and then cancelling Reguilón's loan.
Loan, yeah.
Just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
It's just the decision making that I just can't wrap my head around it. Also, kind of because I quite like Reguilón, so I didn't want him to go. But
I think as well, I absolutely love Luke Shaw, but I think there's got to be a conversation to be had there now, because he has missed a lot, even though
this is his second 3-month injury this season.
You can't argue his, well, some people do, but I don't think you can argue his quality when he's fully fit. And also, I don't think you can fully blame him when he's come off at half-time with what seems to be a muscle injury, one game, and then he plays the next game and comes off with with what seems to be the exact same problem. Like, that's not strictly his fault, but also you can't deny that, like, this isn't, like, it's going on too long. Like, there's always injury troubles, and if you don't have a fit, I guess it's what side of the coin you're on, because some would probably say if you had a fit and good enough deputy, he wouldn't have needed to get back fit for that Luton game. He probably could have sat it out and maybe gained some fitness before the upcoming month. But then also you can go, he's getting injured no matter the kind of situation. He's getting injured too much. It's
hard to keep, I want to say backing, but like it's hard to keep kind of saying, no, Luke Shaw will become if it keeps continuing. Because you've got to have a point where you'd rather have a 7 out of 10 left back for 58 out of 60 games than a 10 out of 10 left back for 30 out of 60 games.
Yeah.
You need sustainable people. That's why, like, Bruno Fernandes, for all his ups and downs at the club, he is available pretty much every single week. I think he's missed one game through injury and one game through illness. It has to be commended how reliable he is.
Yeah, it's all about availability is underrated.
It's the most important. Surely it's the most important basic thing a footballer needs is to be available.
Yeah, but then also it is kind of, another argument is the amount of football being played right now. Like, if you are in all 4 competitions, you're playing 60 games a season if you get far in them. I don't think a lot of players, even if they're like not injury prone, like they still might not be able to play that amount, because you think United legends, like some of the best players probably were playing especially when you think kind of the class in the squads, you were probably playing 40, 45 kind of games a season, maybe they were pushing 50, but not,
I think
not
last
the
season
amount
United
right now.
We got to every final, bar the Europa League. I think United played about 63 games last season.
Which I don't think people speak about enough as well.
Coupled with 8 pre-season games.
But you look at Liverpool when they were going for the quadruple and they failed to get the 2 relevant ones, apart from Carabao Cup. Obviously, the next season was quite relevant. But they dropped off a cliff the start of that next season. And a lot of people were saying it's because they were going for the quadruple, there was loads of games. But I don't see that argument for this United squad as much. But obviously, there's other like you can't just put it down to that. But that is probably part of a reason behind one of the moving parts of why we've been underperforming, underwhelming this year. Because how much football a lot of those players played last year.
I just think that is just, in my head, another argument for why having 3 left backs
probably
wouldn't have been the worst idea in the world. I just don't get it. I think it was a mistake to stop his loan.
Yeah, I liked it.
Obviously, hindsight is 2020.
Yeah.
But even at the time, I was just like, what? There's no reason to get rid of him. There's no benefit apart from monetary benefit if he's off the wage books. There's no benefit for him not being in that squad week in, week out.
Yeah, I see that.
We did. Now we have no left back.
And the problem is that I wouldn't really say, to be fair, I'm not watching the under-21s football too much, but I wouldn't really say that we've got a 21s player who's ready to maybe come in and be on the bench and kind of help out there.
No.
We've got Harry Amas. I know a lot of you have probably heard of him, but he's not ready. He's 16. He's not Wayne Rooney. He's not like a built 28-year-old man in a 16-year-old body. Like
we need. Where's our Borthwick Jackson once again?
Yeah, but
a man with the best cross I've ever seen in my life.
I've seen so much Harry Amas kind of like hype, and I love him. I think he's really good, and he's quite similar to Luke Shaw in like his style of play. But the kid's 16. He's not even touched 21s football. He only moved to United at the start of the season, so I'm 99.9% sure he is not going to even touch a squad. Like it would be impressive. It would be impressive for him to touch the squad this season, considering the injuries.
He was only in training with them for the first time the other week, wasn't he?
Yeah, and people think that he's in training, that means he's going to play. I think it was Dan Gore where it came out that he was consistently in the first team squad training, like at high levels for 4 months before he got his debut.
Yeah, and
he was. I think he's 19? I think he's either 18 or 19. But yeah, like the difference between 16 and 18 and 19 is mad. Like for those kind of youth players. So let's hold out on expectations for him right now.
It's just a bit of a mess. I think it'll cost us this. I think it'll cost us Champions League football.
It could do.
I do. As much as, we're 3 points behind Spurs, 5 behind Villa. Villa and Spurs are playing each other in a couple of weeks, I believe. This is big, and
I think it's mainly whether we get into the top 4 or not, I think does just depend on how well Højlund, Garnacho, Rashford can just continue actually be in form. Because I think that our defence this season just has been dodgy for a lot of points. Hopefully Varane and Maguire can stay fit together so they can build a partnership till the end of the season. But I think that our defence will not be great with a left back or without kind of thing. So I think as long as those attacking players like kind of keep actually performing well and finishing their chances, then I think we've still got a chance. But it does I think it does lower because if you've got,
we're not odds on at all.
Yeah, if he's playing Lindelof there, banging that drum a little bit, but I just don't think he's good. He's at all good enough to play left back. Maybe put him right back, but then even then, who did we get? I remember was it the PSG game when we won? I'm trying to think when Rashford scored the extra time penalty. Was it No, it might have been Bailly actually, who was getting cooked, and we had to change formation or make a sub early on.
It was Bailly.
It might have been, but no, there's definitely a worry there. So we'll see how United deal with it. But it's literally we've not had 2 fit natural left backs throughout the entire season.